I like your backdrop. Like, I like this angle since you sort of discovered it and you were like, this looks pretty good.
It does.
And all
Doesn't
you
it? And
said was you just turned around? Oh.
It's a round table that I sit at. So I was on the other side of the round table. And even actually, the view I have is of the whole room and there's a window. So I even have a nicer view this way. So
how come it took so long for us to
I don't know.
realize
I don't know
this?
what I was thinking. I was like, all I had to do was, yeah. So, well, I'm glad.
And I would move too if I didn't love the picture of a pig behind me that my kids wrote piss on.
It's my favorite. Sometimes I get distracted by it when we're talking about something.
I will now. That was something that I had really no interest in. I was like, okay, it's another one of your paintings. But now it's taken on, it's moved to the top of the list of paintings they've done that I might hang on to.
Yeah, it's got like a spirit behind it. It's nice. The piss spirit, the pig piss.
Hey, another reason we have to get Zoom figured out is, and I thought this was a good idea. I don't know how you feel about this.
Okay.
After the Dice K interview, one of our patrons, Michelle, hello, Michelle, because you're hearing this because you're a patron.
Right.
She said, she's like, I think patrons should maybe get one video podcast a year or something like that. And I thought that could be a nice little incentive. It doesn't take any more time for us to just, video record ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
could be fun.
Yeah, the biggest concern I have with that is just, like, I don't
The pee breaks?
No, we can deal with that. Okay. No, I just don't want to make it so that it's only video. Like, I want it, I guess I would just put it up twice. Like, I put
why
the
not?
video
You could
and
do
then
like
just
a
the
live
audio.
one and then,
Okay. Glad we could work that out together.
Okay, that is good. That's good team thinking. That's why we're good times, great movies. It's like you're the good time and I'm the great movie. Or maybe you're the great movie and I'm the good. Sorry, what?
My automatic level control is automatically level controlling, and I don't have it checked. I hate this so much. I hate...
It's the tech part of this whole thing.
They fixed my computer at work, and now I wish they had not done that.
Because now, I know, getting other grimy hands on your laptop.
I'm so loud now. I'm so loud, and now...
Well, I don't know if you noticed, but I have my mic. I don't know if you can tell. But I did get that little contraption thing that, remember I told you I lost? Well, I found it.
Yeah, I can't tell, but I appreciate it.
Oh. Well.
I just, why is it doing this? I don't have that checked. I have it unchecked. Damn it.
You sound okay to me, but I don't know your level of recording.
It's my recording. Like, I can see the levels going crazy because the thing moves. The thing moves up.
Yeah, it's moving. I get you.
All right, here's what I'm going to do. Hold on. I'm just going to pause for a second. Don't you pause. I'm just going to pause for 1 second.
I'm not. I'm just going to keep on. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I am. Okay, you're back.
I'm picking up where I was last time. It's still moving.
What does that mean? Mine's all the way up, but my levels look okay.
All right, that's fine. You know what? I'll deal with it, and I'll try not to let it distract me.
You're gonna be able to do that?
I'm totally distracted.
Oh no!
No, I just won't look at it.
Maybe you can minimize it. Can you move it in your screen so you're not seeing that part of that?
I know, but then I'm worried that it's going to do something, and I'm not going to be able to see that it's doing it.
You want to be able to track it. I understand.
I know. All right. Anyway, whatever. You know what? It seems to have stopped moving. Nope, just moved. Okay. You know what? We can't do this. I can't do this. We'll just move on. We will just talk about things, and we'll feel good about stuff, and I won't
stay at an even pace.
Be upset. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here we are in Patreon territory.
I love it. Let's swim around with the patrons. It's almost like skinny dipping with the patrons, right? It's like we're doing something a little more risque.
It is. Fine. All right. I mean, not too risque. Skinny dipping is still risque, but maybe not crossing that line with our patrons that
it's
we
dark,
shouldn't.
an evening skinny dip. Okay, we all just know we're naked, but we don't.
Not
see.
early morning skinny dip.
Yeah.
Not like you just had your coffee and you're like, all right, that's it. Let's take them off.
I mean,
Let's
if that's your jam and you got your own setup, go for it. I mean, that's got to be refreshing. But
yeah, make sure you have your own setup. Please do not go to your neighbor's pool
or the
at
community
8 a.m.
pool, mind you. The community pool is a thing.
They will throw you out. Although with COVID, there might not be anybody there. You might be able to go do this as long as you can get into the pool area.
Yeah. So patrons, if you want to skinny dip in the daytime, we're saying that with the COVID restrictions, you probably can. And that's
we may actually be encouraging you to try to do this.
Yeah.
And when you're arrested on the news, just mention our podcast.
That'd be great. Let them know all the ways they can find us.
Right. Yeah. The things that we don't do, just make sure to tell them that there's a Facebook page or something.
Right.
Your local newscaster. Anyway, I think this is us just trying to kill time because I can't stop staring at my levels.
How's the levels looking?
I'm not looking anymore. I now have my Word document in front of my recording software.
I have my 12-page paper document here.
Dude, I only took 2 pages of notes. Right. And I feel like maybe it's because I saw this so much that I didn't really know what to write. I don't know that I needed to write much. I've seen this so much. I think that there's not much said. There's not much dialogue, but I think I could recite this movie. This and Home Alone. That might be it, honestly.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have never seen this. I have never seen an Evil Dead. I didn't even think I knew who this Bruce character was, this Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
And now?
You just thought he was the maker of Campbell's Soup? Yes. You're like, I'm pretty sure that's Bruce Campbell, right? Hasn't he been dead for like 100 years?
I do like his creamy tomato, I'll tell you that. This is a whole new world for me. Yep.
You know what?
I'm glad with a prince and it's Prince Bruce. Yes. And his animated face. Hey, I have a serious question. And
of course.
You might not see this, but I saw this.
Yeah.
Is Bruce Campbell Matt Dillon's dad?
Dude, he's not, but I get that.
Do you see it? Do you see
totally get that, yes. Yeah, that chiseled jawline, that chin that sticks out just a little too far.
Brows and the squareness of the whole featured face. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
If he hasn't played his dad in a film, what are you waiting for, Hollywood?
Let's get some casting agents on that. That's a win-win right there. I mean, I saw it right away.
I think they might be a little too close in age, maybe just a little too close in age to play father-son.
Big brother Bruce.
Cool big brother Bruce. There, you've made the name of the film. That's it. And at some point, someone has to say Big Brother Bruce because it has to be titular.
Titular, must be, should be, yes.
Well, I am glad that you now know who Bruce Campbell is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure we will get into a discussion of whether you should watch Evil Dead, the original, or whether you should watch the third one.
Oh, there's a number 3. How many of these are there?
There's only 3.
Okay.
There's 3, and then they rebooted it recently, like in 2013, I want to say. Mm-hmm. The reboot is really good, but is legitimately scary. It's not goofy, but it's a really, really great horror movie. But they do things like the car's still there, like you can kind of see it in the background.
Oh, that's kind of fun, like little homages.
They do enough nods to it, but it's a legitimately like scary movie. So I would not recommend that for you.
I wasn't scared when
No, you weren't. I was
very brave. I mean, I'll just put the cat right out there.
You can put the cat right out there. We're just hanging with patrons. Yeah. We're just swimming naked with patrons right now.
We're just skinny dipping with the patrons. I enjoyed it. This was another one. I'm sure. I think this was sort of your plan. You said you liked it so much, and it's been And I was like, I don't think I'm reversing, and it's patrons skinny dipping episode, so it doesn't matter because usually we would say these thoughts at the end, but I'm saying them now. I don't think I would have liked this as a kid. I don't think I would have been exposed. I mean, in 1988, I was going to see The Little Mermaid in the movie theater. So I wasn't seeing, this is 1987, Evil Dead 2. This was not on my radar as a kid.
This was not on my, I did not see this until I was in college. Like it was well after the fact that, I mean, I had heard about it, but I didn't see it till later because as a kid, I don't think I would have understood that this was funny. Like, I think it would have creeped me out a little bit too much. Yeah. Or I would have, I wouldn't have gotten the, let's say the Bruce Campbell acting. That's like the first half of this where it's just he alone in a cabin. Like, I don't think that would have connected with me at a younger age. He fights
with his own hand. It's amazing.
That was, I remember watching this movie for the first time and being like, okay, this is all right. But when his hand starts smashing plates over his own head, I was on board 100%.
Same.
Because I like how he just puts it in the sink. Like, I guess water will do the trick. Like, I guess I can drown my own hand. And he kind of takes it easy. Like, just puts his head down on the counter. Like, oh, good thing that's over. And then he just escapes from the water and he's not aware of it.
And then he just beats. It's like this own little. It's a great scene. So much of his one-on-one work.
Yeah.
So good. The laughter.
I kind of could have watched that for the entire hour and a half. I'm not saying we didn't need those hillbillies to show up, but I could watch him run around this house. And when he's laughing with the deer head,
all of the things are laughing.
Yeah. When he's bouncing up and down with the lamp and they both stop down and just laugh. It's so great. And I knew, the reason why I was afraid to do this episode, and because I had something else planned for our patron or horror patron. And then for some reason I was like, we should just do Evil Dead. I didn't think it would be a great episode because I feel like this movie is just going to be me going, remember that part because it was so much fun. Like I don't know how much I can make fun of this movie because it's already making fun of itself.
Sure.
So I didn't think it would be a great regular episode, but I didn't want to get through the entire 80s without talking about this.
I appreciate it. I'm glad that it's been brought into my world. I'll tell you that. And I'm ready. I think that's why I'm 12 pages long because I wrote down like almost blow by blow what's happening. Yeah. There were times that I didn't. And oh my God, the monsters like that Henrietta monster when she's like naked and just this chubby flesh and all the spools of blood, buckets of blood shooting out from the wall. Like, how am I supposed to be afraid of this? And then when he gets like possessed and when he's like, he's cross-eyed afterwards and it's so good. It's so, okay. All right.
And so here's what I will say before we start and we get into this. So the opening of this movie is he and his girlfriend going to this cabin. Now, I would not recommend watching the original Evil Dead.
No.
Because it's pretty much the same movie, but it's not funny.
So he takes another girl to the cabin?
Yeah. So I think what they're doing at the beginning of this is going, it's almost like a previously on Evil Dead because it's kind of what happens. He goes to the cabin with his girlfriend and another couple, and one by one they become possessed, and he wins the day and kills them as zombies.
Yeah,
and
but
that's
does
how
he win the day with a chainsaw arm?
Well, no. That's the thing is...
This is so much better.
Yes, because basically what happened is it's so low budget. It's crazy low budget, but it was a relatively big hit. So then Sam Raimi made a lot of money from this, and then he made Evil Dead 2, which is kind of what he wanted to do in the first place, but he didn't have the money to do it.
I see.
I would say I don't know a single person that likes the first one better than the second one.
Okay.
So I would skip it.
Okay.
Because the opening to this of he and his girlfriend, it's just kind of like, this is how he got in this situation, and you don't need to watch the first movie.
I thought maybe, so you know how we've been talking about how these sequels have like a little scene where it's the flashback scene from the first one? So
right, yeah, it could be 20 minutes long, as in Karate Kid.
Right,
or
exactly. Or it could just be something brief. So I thought when he was listening to the recording and it showed the old man going into to get the original Book of Dead, I thought maybe Evil Dead 1 was all about that guy's adventure to get the book.
I'd kind of love that. It seems like a mummy movie, which I am all about. Like that's what, you know.
That's what I thought I was missing. I was like, I bet the first one's explaining how that old guy got the book and the adventure he went on with his wife. But
no, it's Evil Dead 2, but not funny. That's what the first one is.
I'm glad we're on our sequels then. I'm glad for it.
So that's what happens. He goes to this cabin with his girlfriend, and I like the fact that they just broke into someone else's cabin.
I know, even when they're driving up and she's like, "Are you sure it's deserted?" And I'm like,
yeah. Like, deserted? What? This isn't like, because they even go in and she's like, what happens if they show up? And he's like, I'll just tell them the car broke down. I'm like, your girlfriend's in just a t-shirt and no pants, and they're gonna be okay with that. And he's even like, I'm gonna get the champagne, baby, because you're a woman and I'm a man. I'm like, what kind of hammy acting is this? And I loved it.
I know. I love how he's playing the piano all nice and she's just dancing in her underwear, because that's what you do when you're at the cabin with your boyfriend. You're just gonna dance around in your underwear while he tickles the old ivories.
Great piano player, and that never comes back. Like, at some point I thought, maybe he might play the piano, and it's like you have to solve. Yeah, maybe. Oh my God. Yeah, how did they miss that opportunity?
And then he played,
Yes, and he had to play to, I don't know, make the Necronomicon or something. I don't know. But I love the fact that he was playing the piano. I thought it was adorable.
Yeah, same here. And he was, like you said, he was very good. Her haircut, I'm glad Sweet Linda didn't last long, because that mullet on her, oh boy. When they get that side angle and they're dancing together, I was like, what is wrong? But I guess it's the 80s. So.
Well, yeah, and I guess, I don't know. I don't know if they're trying to model her after the original Linda, because I think the first one was 3 or 4 years before this, so we're talking more early 80s.
In the first one, her name was Linda too?
I don't know. I didn't even do that research. I have the first one here, and I was like, should I watch this? And I went, nah, I watched it once. That was fine. That was good enough.
You logged it.
I'm sure it is. I mean, why would they? I don't know, though. Never mind. I don't want to. I don't want to talk about something that I don't know anything about. So
why? You do it all the time.
I know. I do this podcast. That's what this is. What's stopping me now? I feel bad just because it's a movie I like.
All right. So they it doesn't take long when they're settled into this abandoned cabin. For him, if you want to poke fun, so I don't get this. So they find this recording, right? And he's like, oh, let's play this. Do.
He's so excited. He opens the door to the bedroom and he's like, hey, there's a tape here. There's like reel to reel. She's like, turn it up, man. Let's take a listen.
Well, and then I don't get it, because as the man is reciting, like, I found this very dangerous, evil book.
Right.
Long ago, written in blood, and now I have it. And he starts reading it. Don't you like pause, shut that recorder off. Maybe we don't need to hear this. Maybe it's not ours to hear.
Yeah.
You just keep letting it play.
No, because I thought maybe they were like, maybe it's some cool tunes, dude. I mean, you're playing the piano and that's all great. But when it's an old guy talking about how he's like the original Indiana Jones or something, I'm like, no, I have no interest in this.
Yeah, maybe.
And also, it's getting a little scary here.
Yeah. Things are a little creepo, right? Right. But it doesn't take long. It's like a less than 5 minutes of the recording that they listen to, enough to conjure up the evil spirits that have just been waiting to be re-unleashed, I guess. Because he must have unleashed them originally the first time, the guy that made the parents.
Well, those are a few questions I have, is because where has this evil been? Like, the evil took over the parents, right?
Yeah.
That's what we are meant to believe. Or I mean, that's what we're flat out told. So did the evil just like go to bed or something, and then it needed someone to play back these tapes then?
It needs more humans, maybe.
But I don't know why them driving up in the car didn't wake it up.
Oh, yeah. No, it needed...
All right.
Yeah, I'm
okay.
Question mark on that. You're right. There's a lot of things here that are a little like... Not a lot, but...
I mean, it's a horror comedy. We don't need to, We can poke holes in this all day long,
Sure.
but I
but it'd be
that's
gushing blood down at us. That's what it would be.
Spraying out.
Red
like
blood that turns
hose.
black. Oh, when he stabs the monster thing in the eye. Oh. Yep. And then the blue.
I love it when he cuts. I love it when he cuts her head with the chainsaw, or when her body runs in with the chainsaw, and he just like hits the arms and starts cutting her own body, and black biles like flying
just
all over
everywhere.
the place.
Well,
and her head's in the vice, constantly going woo, woo, as they run around the shed.
Yeah, when he's just trying to aim at flying pieces of her with that. With that chainsaw. Oh, man. It's so great.
It's so much fun. Like, the amount of times in this movie that the footage is just sped up. Like, even when he sits on the chair and it breaks, like, it's sped up for some bizarre reason that doesn't make any sense.
Because, just to be fun. Just because it's a fun-loving horror movie. I guess so. Yeah, it doesn't take long for her to disappear. And I like his face when he realizes she's gone. He's almost like, well, where the hell? What the hell? Like,
it's like, where could she possibly have gone? There's a giant hole in the wall where a window was.
Right.
But she's like taken away by a tree, I guess.
Well, yeah, the spirits are alive in the trees because we see that later.
The trees are pretty evil in this. So, and they are, you're right, like they waste no time with this plot because it's kind of like he goes out and he's like, I wonder where she is. And suddenly she's there.
She's dancing.
She's like a monster. Oh, that's after he cuts her head off when she's dancing.
Oh, right.
This is when she just attacks him.
Flying around when she's flying.
I love that. She's playing with her own head. I love how she just jumps away and she's like, wee. That's it. Like, that's very bizarre.
She just fades out.
But yeah, so she attacks him and he cuts her head off with a shovel.
Yeah, he beheads her with the shovel. And he yells, Linda!
Yep.
He's so upset.
He's very...
I like it later
his
when
emotions.
He
swings wildly between emotions.
Oh, we should note that he gives her, before he kills her, he gives her this like glass necklace that comes to play later when he is a monster and sees the necklace and gets emotional monster. That was a whole scene where like took a long time while he was...
Yeah, emotional monster is a good way to put it. But you're right. It's just like a glass. There's not like a picture of her inside it or a picture of him or anything. It looks kind of cheap. But you know what? It means something
It's
to
very
him.
special to him.
Right.
When evil comes, so evil turns them into these monsters. But when it's like charging at him through the forest, it really just sounds like you're sitting in the back of an airplane or like a lawnmower. Like it's just this really loud.
Yep.
That's
I mean, the sound is great in this too, and we do see that there is some evil outside that can chase him around because it chases him like through all the rooms. Like this cabin is enormous. Like when he's running through, it's breaking all the doors, all the windows. It chases him into the walls of this cabin too. I love that.
And he's just running. Is it? No, it's later on when he's in the basement and he's walking backwards and it's chasing him.
Even that basement is enormous. It's like this cabin looks so tiny.
I know, it looks like the tiniest, shittiest cabin, but when he's running around it, it's huge. And yeah, the basement, or the dungeon basement area.
The basement looks like the basement of like a school or a prison. There's so many pipes moving in all sorts of directions.
And he's really down there for a while looking for the
papers. It takes him forever. Yeah, it takes him forever.
And the guy just tossed him down. You think they'd lay on the steps right there. It's not like he like...
And I like how they're just planted on a corpse because he just finds that guy's corpse and they're just like stuck under the skeletal arm. And he's like, well, that was really easy. I don't even have to find the individual pages. They're all just kind of stuck together.
Ready for me. Yeah. So after he chops off her head with a shovel. Then the spirit or the evil. A lot of those monster moves are like WWE moves where they like spin him, like they pick him up and they spin him around like helicopter style. And then is this when he's dropped in that puddle and he takes a long nap in the puddle?
Great because he's like picked up and like rear projection, like the camera's mounted to his chest and you see him flying through trees and he spins around and everything. Yeah, it's really great. And like you said, he hits a tree, falls in a puddle, and then he's a monster.
Yeah, and now I will say these monsters are like the scariest part to me is their eyes, because they're like these.
They're just like sunken in and just white. Just,
yes.
There's nothing in there.
Right. But the rest of the monsterness is.
No, I would say that the monsters all look kind of great though. Like it doesn't look like somebody wearing a mask.
No,
like it really does look like this really cool makeup work on them. Especially that blonde guy where his teeth are like jutting out in different directions and everything.
The boyfriend when he becomes,
Yes. So he's possessed and he's a monster now. But just for a moment, because the sun rises.
Yes.
And the sunlight destroys, because he even has to say, like, oh, the sun. Like, in case the audience did not understand what was happening.
Yeah.
But then he takes a super long nap.
Yeah.
He sleeps the whole day away.
Different positions. We see him with like on his right side, on his left side, on his back.
Yep. He's always like halfway in a puddle though every time. Even though he was rolling around, his legs were always soaking wet.
You're wondering if something out of the puddle is going to happen. No.
Yep.
No. It's just where this is when he goes cross-eyed before the puddle. Before he wakes up in the puddle.
This is when he decides to drive away. He's like, what's a good idea if I just drive away from this cabin?
Let me just leave this. I mean, and honestly, good choice. If I came upon this and now it's time to this is my exit. Yeah,
maybe the moment you bury your girlfriend, after you put that handmade cross in what appeared to be just a pile of coal. Like, I love how he just found an area of coal and he's like, well, I could dig this easier than I can dirt.
This'll work.
Just put her under
and
here.
no, who's really coming out here anyway to find this? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly. These people, who knows where they are? If a scary tree killed your girlfriend, maybe a scary tree killed them too. You could probably just creep away and no one is the wiser.
Move it along. Right.
Yeah. Or bring the cops back or something. I don't know. But no, he tries to drive away and he finds that the bridge isn't just out. I love how it's just bent.
It's this weird, like, sculpture-y kind of and I love, again, he's got these great reactions. He yells so much in this, no, when he sees the bridge is gone.
He gets out of this car and, like, is barely standing. Like, he's got the biggest tummy ache ever. And he's just like, oh no. And he's hitting the car with his fist. And I love, like, the rear projection behind him of, like, the sunset that's rapidly approaching.
Here comes evil. Here comes evil's going to come back on its lawnmower, coming for you. This is when it follows him through the cabin and busts through the doors.
Oh, okay, that's lit.
And he hides under the floor. That's how he finally gets away from it. He
hides in the basement.
Yes.
But before this, I think it's important to know that he drives away. He's able to outrun this evil thing
in the car.
That we can't see with the car, but he runs it into a tree and flies through the windshield.
That's right.
Something that would kill a normal human being, and he just like shakes it off. Like, he opens his eyes, they're kind of crossed for a second, and he runs into the cabin.
Yeah, and not Bruce. This man is about to chop his whole hand off in a couple of scenes.
Yeah,
and be okay with it.
In case you've never seen, you know what? There may be some people that have not seen Evil Dead 2, just like you.
I'm in that party. I'm in it.
I would say, for those of you that might be patrons and have never seen this, and maybe you're kind of like, I don't know, a horror movie, it seems kind of scary, or I'm not sure if I'm on board with this. I think, first of all, by saying a bunch of stuff about a hand, we've already spoiled some of the fun stuff. But I'd seek this out. I think it's worth hitting pause, watching it over the weekend, and then, you know what, come back and listen to us.
Come back and hang out with us. And then enjoy this that much more.
I would hate to spoil what is Evil Dead 2, and a movie that then, after I saw this, I cannot tell you the joy I feel when I'm just randomly flipping channels and I see that, oh, Bruce Campbell's in a TV show. Like, I am on board with it. I have to sit. I have to watch him. I'm so into anything he's doing.
I can see why. Was he ever on a Law and Order?
I would almost guarantee he's been on a Law and Order.
Well, I would seek that out.
He played a cowboy on a TV show called Briscoe County Jr. when I was like in junior high or high school. So that was sort of the first time. He was also like a regular on Xena.
The Warrior Princess?
Yeah. I never watched Xena at all, but I have seen like clips or a little bit, and it's just him being Evil Dead Bruce Campbell, but like dressed in like all furs. Like he's always just Bruce Campbell in whatever he's in, and I am into it. So
happy to see it. All right.
Yeah. Yep. So now we meet
Annie.
We meet, and oh boy, a big shake of the head for Annie there. Yeah, we meet Annie.
I wanted more from her. I have to be honest.
What was that?
But that's okay. I wanted more from her, but I'll get into that. You found what?
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I agree in that I don't like her character. I thought she, as an actress, was okay, I guess. Mm-hmm. I didn't like her scream. Her scream was really annoying. And she's screaming a lot in this movie.
Yeah, she's screaming with that door at one point for a long time.
For so long. So long. I was like, oh, this is just aggravating.
And her boyfriend is weird.
That dude is he's like such a doof in his like members only jacket or whatever he's wearing.
And what does he have it on his head later? Like did you see that when they're first in the house and right before he becomes because he becomes a monster, right?
He becomes a monster real quick, like right away.
Because he's He
so
is like.
Can I?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go.
I was going to say, can I talk about the career paths of our two actors that
if
we're meeting right now?
Because
it's very interesting. So the woman who played Annie, her name is Sarah Berry, which, first of all, that's a tough name to say. Like that is a Sarah Berry. Like that's a mush mouth kind of name. Should have changed it. She was only in 2 movies. She was in this and Chud 2, which is another horror
she likes
sequel.
The sequel. Okay.
Yeah. And that was it. That's all. Like that. I even on IMDb, there appears to be a recent picture of her, and I'm like, wait,
where have you been?
This? Like maybe at a convention or something.
Oh.
But her boyfriend.
Oh.
His name is Rick Domeyer.
Oh, Rick.
And you know what this guy does now?
No.
He's a QVC host.
No.
He's on QVC.
Way.
Yeah, and he has been on QVC for a very, very long time.
Wow.
Yeah. My mom went through a period of years where she watched QVC. Like, it was just on in the background all the time. Mm-hmm. And I saw Evil Dead once, and I was like, hey, you should watch this movie. She watched it, recognized him,
oh, no.
and wrote him a letter, and he responded. He's like, I'm glad you loved the movie. That was a fun period in my life. Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that she wrote him a letter. And then...
Yeah, he totally wrote back. Like, this was before email. Like, I think she actually wrote a letter and sent it to QVC, and then he responded.
Awesome. And so, it shows you how many letters he gets about his Evil Dead role, because he was like, oh, thanks for reminding me. Most QVC shoppers do not know the Evil Dead boyfriend.
No,
Ed, I think
listen. That's all
name.
I'd want to talk to this guy about. I'm like, I don't care about the cubic zirconia or whatever you're selling me.
Whatever
right
it
now.
is, right?
Can we just talk about Evil Dead? Like, how long did that makeup take?
Yeah, how was it? Yeah, how was Bruce? He is like, yeah, his brows do all the work, or what? These. So
we see them getting off a plane,
yes.
and she is the daughter of the guy that we saw in the Indiana Jones flashback.
And now she's brought some papers with her also.
Right.
That she claims can now kind of fuse together what her father has started working on, and this could be the portal to... how does she say it? Wait, I can write it down.
I don't know. Go ahead, do your best, Annie.
She says, it's probably nothing, but it's possibly a doorway to another world. And he's like, ugh! Like his facial expression.
You know what?
So
You said that with all the passion that the character of Annie actually put into her role, and I really wish that his reactions would be, oh, because his reactions is just him standing there like he looks so giddy every time you see him.
Even when they're supposed to be so scared, he's like, oh, I agree. It's like
There's monsters. This guy's shooting at them with a shotgun and everything. And every time he turns over, he's got the biggest smile on his face. He's wide-eyed, just looking all around in all directions. I was like, what movie do you think you're in? What do you think is happening right now?
Even his reactions, so they start out on their adventure. They're in a car, and they're supposed to be going to the cabin. But the road is closed to get to the cabin, as we know. Right. The bridge is broken. And this weird, I called him the roadie guy and his hick girlfriend, who stop him, and they're like, the road's closed, but we know of a trail. And the boyfriend,
Yes.
Ed, Annie's boyfriend, is like, I mean, yeah, I trust
He's
him.
like, this sounds great. He's so thrilled to meet the locals.
I'm like, these people seem super shady. It's dark, and you all are going to walk on a trail now to get to the cabin with papers.
Also, the girlfriend came out of nowhere.
Yes.
Like, we see that guy setting something up. She's not in his truck. She just appeared from in the woods, and it's just like, it's going to cost you. And I like how the tow truck driver, I'm going to call him a tow truck driver.
Yeah,
I assume that's his job. I like how his first offer is like, it's going to cost you $45. I was like, that's so specific. Like, you think she has a 5 on her? It's what a bizarre thing to quote. Like, 50? Okay, just do that. Like, I don't know.
He's
it's
like,
very strange.
Cost you $45.78.
78 cents. If you don't have exact change, I'm not going to show you where that trail is.
Just might as well give me the 46 while you're out.
And I love how his girlfriend's like, you mean 100? Like,
yeah.
That is a huge jump in price.
I know. But they really don't have a choice.
Yeah. But that doofus is like, $100. Let's go. Let's go.
He's like, this sounds great. I mean, I don't see a problem with it at all. These shysters trying to shake us down for this walk through the scary woods.
So because we don't have a lot of characters, I thought it would be fun to look into them. And the guy, his name is Jake. Like, I don't know that anybody calls him Jake in this movie.
I didn't ever hear
But
Jake.
he's played by an actor named Dan Hicks. And he was in a lot of Sam Raimi movies. Like, he was in Darkman, and he's in Spider-Man, and in Spider-Man 2. So he kind of hung around. Yeah. And Bobby Joe.
Oh, Bobby Joe.
Her name is Cassie DePaiva. I'm going to say DePaiva. I don't know. There's a lot of vowels in her name.
And the V
she started on One Life to Live since in 1992. She was on that till 2013.
Wow.
And since 2013, currently, she is on Days of Our Lives.
She's a little soap opera actress.
Yeah.
Good for her.
I know.
Right.
And she had guest spots in Baywatch and Melrose Place.
Well, look at her getting herself a little
honestly,
career there.
Other than Bruce Campbell, she's like the most accomplished actor in this movie.
Yeah, and she has, I think, the fewest lines. Well, no, I think boyfriend Ed has the fewest.
He's turned into a monster very, very quickly. And at least she's, I don't know, given some stuff to do. She's kind of tough,
like
I guess. Kind of sassy. Oh, that eyeball. If you did not know this movie was a comedy, finally the eyeball thing happens. And I'm like, how could you not like this? Because that's crazy.
When she... I was waiting for her to come back somehow. Like for
Me
her to,
too. I was totally ready for like... her, and I don't know how you would do this effect, but for her eyeball to like disappear
pop out,
and this, or be forced out,
or just
and
for
that
it
one's
to
there.
be like come out of her mouth, like to be like
right,
and then she's got like a 3-eyed monster like thing.
Yeah, yes, because we don't even see like you see it go into her mouth, but we don't see the conclusion. Like, did she spit that out? Did she swallow it? Like, we don't see what happened to it, and I always assume she swallowed it because that makes it grosser.
Yeah, I agree.
I also like when she gets off the plane and she's like, I have my luggage here. And it's this giant. Did you see the size of this box? Huge. And the guy, like the cab driver, is just like, I'll pick it up and put it in the trunk. And I'm like, that's not going to fit in the trunk of this car.
Well, then the tow truck guy has to walk it. That's part of the deal. Is she'll pay him $100, but he has to walk her luggage. And he just sees her purse and the little dinky paperwork and is like, I could do that. But
it's a very like womp womp joke when you see him come up.
It's expected, and then it's but while they're tramping through the woods, that's when our sad friend Bruce Dillon, as I like to call him.
You should call him that.
He's bloody faced. Now he's got some blood all around his face, and he's limping around, and this is when the piano plays by himself. Like, now he's all like paranoid at the place. Oh, this is when he sees the necklace and he gets so sad about Linda.
He gets sad a lot.
He's
like
emotional.
there are a lot of scenes that end with him like on his knees, like crying or hitting the floor and stuff.
It's emotional time for this guy. Is this one? So she rises like a headless puppet from.
Yes. And like a headless, I'm going to say like claymation stop motion figure. Mm-hmm. She rises from the mound of coal that he just threw on top of her. Mm-hmm. And she's dancing around headless, naked too. I don't know what happened to the long t-shirt she was wearing.
The clothes are
gone. We do see that hanging up in the background later. So I guess she took it off and was getting changed when the tree took her or something.
Oh, yeah, because she was putting on her nightgown. That's right.
Yeah. We see her baseball jersey like hanging up in the background a lot. I was like, oh, that's a neat little touch to just keep that there.
Just let you know, little piece of Linda right there.
Little piece of Linda.
When you're right, this little animated or claymation, it kind of reminded me of like a, oh my gosh, I'm losing my whole train of thought.
Please say a California raisin.
Yes, it did. Yes. Like a California raisin, exactly. Yep. And again, and this is when it dances and it leaps away. Whee, right? Oh no, now it comes up to her. And it wants him to dance with her, right? Dance with me. Yeah. And it bangs his head on the wall.
Her head rolls from nowhere. I don't know where this head had been the whole time. The head rolls in her hand. She's like juggling it as she dances around. And like I said earlier, she just goes, wee, and jumps off into the darkness. And his expression is just like, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
What did I just watch?
What is going on? But doesn't she come back and she's right in his face because he's like peering through the cracks of the cabin. And then she like bams his head like repeatedly on the wood, like over and over again, bashes his head into the wall.
The amount of head trauma that this character would have after this evening is absolutely wild, because like a Three Stooges cartoon, these like skeleton hands grab his head and just keep banging it into a board that's on the window.
But then that kind of knocks him out because he wakes up in a chair. And this is where he like wakes up in the chair and he kind of screams and he convulses. And then the next thing you know, and he's like, he has these moments where he's like, oh, I'm okay. This is just a dream. Or like, well, he'll look in the mirror and try to snap himself out of it kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he wakes up in the chair and now her head is right in his lap. And this is when the hand bites the head bites his hand. And now he's running around with a hand on his, or a head on his hand.
Yeah. And he's just flailing. He's like hitting it against everything he can see. Every piece of furniture, every wall. He's smashing his girlfriend's severed head against.
And then he goes, woodshed. And he walks out to the woodshed.
That is so great. Just the dubbing of that line in this movie is so bizarre and so silly. And no other line is that poorly dubbed through the entire thing. It's meant so that you as the audience isn't like, well, where is he now? I guess this is a room in the cabin. Is this
another room in the cabin? I don't remember. No. Woodshed. And then what is that thing that he puts her head in, the squeezer thing?
It's a vice. It's called a vice.
Okay. He puts the head in that. And then I love it. He goes to look for the chain. Oh, he puts her head in that, and
she yells like evil stuff
to him. The evil is speaking through him through the head, and he's all, "You're going down," and I love it. He looks on the shelf for a chainsaw, and the chalk outline of a chainsaw is there. Like, this is where we would put the chainsaw.
I love how it's like a chalk outline, and I expected to turn around and for every tool to have a chalk outline on the wall of where it goes.
I love it because he's looking again. It's like letting the audience know, okay, he's in the work shed and he's looking in this shelf for the
it's so funny too, because it's not even just like he looks up and sees the chalk outline. It has almost like a curtain in front of it or something.
Yes, it's like a big reveal.
I expected like a neon sign above it to be like chainsaw with an arrow down here, because he seems to know that a chainsaw is always kept just behind a curtain in a woodshed.
Oh man.
But then he looks and he's like, oh, there's no chainsaw. And the door like gets kicked open by her body wielding this chainsaw.
Yeah. And now this is the fight between him, the body, and the chainsaw, where he gets the body to saw itself in half.
Yes, basically.
Kind of, not all the way in half. But he gets splashed. Isn't this black paint that he gets splashed?
This is black paint.
Blood.
Yeah, I mean, everything is black or green. Is there any green in this movie, or is it just black or red?
It's blue. I mean, blue.
Blue.
Comes out of there's blue out of the monster's
eye
out
of that
at the end.
big monster at the end. Yeah,
and there's green. I think it's when he does Henrietta. It's green. Yeah, there is green.
You might be right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Henrietta. So the body basically dies. It basically like kills itself by accident. Mm-hmm. And I love how he takes the chainsaw and pulls it up, and her arm is still holding on to it.
Yes.
And he picks it up and is like, ew, but it's almost like it's stuck to his hand. Like he almost has to shake it off to fall to the ground.
Yeah. And now he makes sure he's got his chainsaw. He brings that in from the shed, and he's like, you could tell. He is just like, he's tired, he's bloody.
He does cut her head up, but it does turn into regular Linda for just a moment.
Oh, that's right. But he doesn't
And I was like, Linda's head, you're totally fooling him. But then it turns back into a monster.
Yeah.
And then he cuts it up, and I'm like, you were totally tricking him when you were Linda. Like, he was really sad and didn't want to hurt you, but then you turned back into a monster. And he does like cry and yell no as he's cutting up her head with a chainsaw.
Well, I like it later when he's looking at himself in the mirror. I think he's like, you're okay. You're okay. Mm-hmm. And the reflection is like, you're not okay. You just cut up your girlfriend with a chainsaw.
Oh, great. I'd say this is the furthest from okay you've ever been.
I do like it later on when he's screaming at Annie. He's like, I'm okay! He's just screaming it at her. I'm like, but the way you're saying it, you're not really okay.
But I love his interaction with his reflection, because after that, then I like how he turns away from the mirror and then jumps back to look at it real quick. So great. So much fun. So much just one-man acting that is like crazy fun.
Yeah.
And now everything seems to be okay because his monster girlfriend is dead. But now we see that his hand is becoming possessed.
It's starting
and
to
I
crack
didn't know this evil could possess just parts of you, just small parts of you if it wants to.
I love it too when he realizes it and he's looking at his hand and its hand is like cracking and getting crazy and he's screaming and it grabs his own face. Again, it's so fun to watch him and he's like, you bastards, you dirty bastards. Give me back my hand.
He puts his arm on the ground and like kneels on his hand so he can't go anywhere, but it's just flopping around the whole time on the ground. And it is another one of those scenes where it's just the camera raises it up and it's he just screaming into the void.
Yeah. He's just angry, upset. Like I said, he's an emotional guy.
So as we said, he does decide that water might be the best thing for this hand.
Help. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And he fills the sink with water and then kind of like takes a little rest, kind of like takes like a standing nap.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
And this guy,
although later we see the clock and I'm like, it's only 11:30. Like, how long has this been happening?
And the kitchen is a mess. P.S. And somebody's been eating saltines everywhere.
Very messy.
There's a pile of dishes. I'm like, when did they cook? They just got there. There's like a pile of dishes with a meal.
Listen, these are the old people that used to live there. They just weren't, with his wife becoming evil and him having to bury her in the cellar. I guess he didn't have time to do the dishes.
Maybe he's soaking his hands in palm olive. I don't know.
Oh, you think that's it? He's like, I'll soften this monster up.
This'll see.
So this is when, as we said, his hand decides to start hitting him over the head with dishes.
Oh my God, repeatedly
plates
too.
And bowls.
And choking him and like you said, like Three Stooges style, kind of slapping him around.
When he grabs his own head and flips himself
over.
Oh yeah. That is amazing because you know that was him. Like it's not like
hair.
A stunt double. Like
no,
this is a long, continuous shot. That's Bruce Campbell flipping himself over on a kitchen floor.
It's amazing. The hand has kind of a creepy little voice it makes, like a weird.
Yep.
It reminded me of the Hug-a-Bunch voices, which I could see why the Hug-a-Bunch was so disturbing to you now, because it reminded me of their little mirror, like geek 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 geek. Clicky
it was
voices.
only disturbing because the whole movie revolved around them putting this old lady in a home.
And don't forget, there was these crazy chubby dolls that came out of a mirror and took the little girl into their land.
Whatever. That's secondary. So I like when his hand finally knocks him out, and his hand starts dragging him across the floor.
Oh, what a strong hand! What a strong hand. There's a cleaver. Again, the kitchen is a hot mess, and the hand spots the cleaver there. So it slowly drags him over to the cleaver. Yep. And he's got the hand's number because he's just going to...
So great.
He's just going to cut off his own damn hand. He don't care.
Yeah, thankfully he brought the chainsaw back in the house. Oh, I like it. We didn't say earlier, he brings the chainsaw in the house and finds a shotgun and then just throws the chainsaw on the floor.
Yeah, he's ready now, though. And I love it. The shotgun is, again, like the chainsaw. It's just sitting there on a shelf with a box of bullets as if to say, like, waiting for you.
Right. But now he's got that chainsaw, and he is not happy with his hand at all. He has to talk to his hand. He has to taunt his hand, I think, as he's cutting it off.
Because it's filled with the evil, I guess.
Yep.
And then this is what he does, who's laughing now? Because he gets so pumped about the fact that, like, he outsmarted evil by cutting off his own hand. And there's blood everywhere. It's the bloodiest
The amount of blood from cutting off your hand, I'm sure that would be a bloody activity, especially with a chainsaw. But the amount of blood spraying on his face is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, it's a crazy amount. And, I mean, so now he's handless. This is when he's got that fun scene where he laughs with all of the... Because the monster or the evil has left his hand, but now he sees it's like... in the lamp, and it's in the light bulb, and it's in the lamp and light bulb. It's
the same thing. Yeah. The light bulb's in the lamp, but still. How about the great gag where after he cuts off his hand, he puts the bucket on it, and then he puts a pile of books on it, and the book on top is a farewell to arms. Because I love it when Bruce Campbell doesn't say much in this movie, but his quips, when he looks at her head and he points at it and he goes, "You're going down." Yeah. And then when he puts the bucket on, he's like, "This is your home now." Like, I love those dumb little quips. They're so much fun. He doesn't say much, but it's really great when he does.
It's fun when he does.
Yep. And like you said, the animal heads on the wall are laughing at him, and he's laughing along with.
That's what he does. The elk head on the wall is laughing at him. Yeah.
It's like he's embraced his insanity, and he's like, let's go. If we're taking this ride, if I just cut my own hand off that smashed plates over my head, let's all laugh about this. Because what else am I going to do?
Oh, he does duct tape his hand, right?
Yes.
Isn't that how he fixes himself?
Yeah.
Does he chainsaw his hand, or does he... Oh, no, then once the hand is gone, doesn't the hand give him the finger?
The hand gives him the finger because it runs into like a comically large mouse hole in the wall. Like a Tom and Jerry sized mouse hole. And that's when he's shooting at it with the shotgun. Yes.
Oh, right. And that's when he...
Yeah.
That's when he misses and he shoots... I guess he grazes the arm, right?
Yeah, I think we're supposed to think that he shot the hand because we see a little bit of blood dribbling out of the wall. But then it becomes, more consistent. And eventually it's like a fire hose of blood that is spraying him about 3 feet away in his face. And then it turns black. And then it all like gets reverse sucked back into the wall too.
Yeah,
which is kind of fun.
Which is a weird,
And that's when he loses it and starts dancing and bouncing around and laughing with all the inanimate
and all
objects
the things
in
the house are doing it with him. It's like a big old party, a big old release.
And if you were just having fun watching Bruce Campbell hang out by himself, which I was, you knew these people were going to get here eventually, but the fun is broken up by a knock at the door. So, of course, he turns around and shoots a giant hole in the door.
Shotgun now, right. Well, and it's nighttime, which is when this evil is
right, no.
And he's not expecting anyone.
Yeah, I like to think that the evil's like, maybe if I knock, he'll open the door and let me in.
He'll just calmly allow me in and sit me down. But he shoots at the door, and now he's got some angry people coming in after him.
Right.
That don't know. That don't even really assess the situation to see the house is a mess.
Well, listen.
He's covered
even
in
if
blood.
you assess the situation, this is not her father. This is not her mother. This is a wild man who shot at them, who is missing a hand and covered in blood.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I think they did a pretty good job of assessing the situation.
Well, they come in and they just all start beating him up one at a time.
They like knock him out and throw him then down in the cellar.
But then they get to quick work. She listens to the recording, right?
Yes, right.
And she listens to the part that Bruce didn't finish. What's his name is weird. It's Ash.
Ash.
Is that that doesn't seem tough at all.
You don't think the name Ash sounds tough?
I think he should have been Bruce.
Oh no, Bruce. Okay, you're right. Bruce is the toughest name out there,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Ash is kind of a cool name, I think.
I guess.
No?
I guess. I don't think it is. I couldn't.
You're right
remember
that he
his
just
name.
should have been Bruce. You're right. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Why break something that isn't fixed? Nope. Why fix something that isn't broken? Why break something that's... That's what I do all the time. I'm like, this is still broken. I guess I got to break it more.
Well, I was looking to break something, but I guess this isn't what it's going to be.
I don't want to break something that works. I'm just going to keep breaking broken stuff to let off let off some steam, I guess. So yeah, he's put in the basement and she listens to the rest of her father's recording where he's like, oh, my wife has turned into a monster.
I know, she's a demon and now...
I had to kill her. It was horrible, but at least I buried her in the basement.
Yes. And
They're
they're
I
like...
can barely hear this.
They're all
he's
like...
way in the basement. And his eyes are like, oh no, did that guy just up there say basement?
Is there something down here with me? Again, right. The whole time her weirdo boyfriend is like smiling, listening to this. He's got the wrong reaction.
Life. It's like, this is so
He's like
exciting.
giggling, like, oh, your mother's a demon. That's so awesome.
I can only imagine. Raimi filmed this guy and he's like, what is wrong with this guy? Like, he won't stop smiling. I don't know what to do. Like, he wasn't even supposed to turn to a monster this early. We cannot continue this.
He doesn't get the emotional levels. He's like, I'm just here, what?
I never thought about that before. But you're right. Every time they show me, he's just big smile on his face, looking around side to side like, well, what do we do now? This is so much fun. Oh, Rick Delmeyer. You know what? He's been on QVC for so long. He must do a good job of whatever he's got to do there.
Well, I guess if he's selling something, maybe he was like, hey, if we're selling, It's
like, wait, I just have to smile the whole time and talk about a product? I could do that. Did you watch Evil Dead 2? Did you watch my demo reel?
That was like my audition tape. Yeah. You didn't see it? It was really good. I do like, all right, so... The recording gives off that the dead zombie mother is buried in the downstairs where they've just put Bruce, we'll call him, Ashy Bruce, and now he's down there and he starts screaming because it's clearly something's down there with him, and the tow truck guy is like, it's a trick and I know it. They're like, no, because the guy, I don't think this is a trick,
right? It would be one thing if she walked in the room and saw her parents all hacked up, but she's listening to a recording saying, hi, I killed my wife and then I buried her.
This is where she
and
is.
There's some evil. And she was all jazzed up in the first place. Like, oh my God, look at these pages. Perhaps a portal to a different world. So she's easy to convince that Ash might not be super evil.
Right.
But you're right in that this hillbilly's like, we're not letting him out of this basement.
I don't trust him. He's only got one hand.
And he does. This basement's great because it's kind of like locked up just with chains. So you can get it open enough to see somebody's eyes.
Yes.
And he's just up there like looking back and forth being like, you got to let me out. You got to let me out. There's something down here with me.
I could hear it. And Sweet Henrietta looks like a man at first as a monster. She looks like a man monster.
Yeah. I mean, who knows what happens to your corpse afterwards, especially if you're just buried in a basement in a bunch of dirt, I guess.
That's where he had to put her.
Yeah. I mean, Linda looked horrible, and she'd only been buried for like 20 minutes.
That's true. Linda had a bad go of it, too.
Yeah.
Well, Henrietta comes out of the basement, and she's in full attack mode.
Yes.
And she attacks the boyfriend. She attacks the road guy. Let's see.
Well, they're able to get him out.
out.
Yeah. They're able to get him out.
Yes.
And yeah, there's a little bit of attacking, but they manage to like get her back in and slam the trap
lid
door
on her
to the basement onto her head.
Yes.
But her head's wedged in it, and she's like a monster now. She's not even looking like an old woman
No,
anymore.
she becomes like this Tales from the Crypt guy at first, and then
sure, the Crypt Keeper. Let's do it. Yeah. So then
go ahead.
Is it Bruce that jumps on the thing?
Yes.
Like one of them starts jumping on the door to sort of, I guess, crush this thing's head.
Yeah, to get her down. And then her eye pops out. Just goes flying out, squishes her face so much that her eye pops out of its socket, goes flying across the room, and one of our hit girl is left screaming, and the eye pops right into her mouth.
Goes right in her mouth.
Into her mouth. She
and
swallows
this was when
the eye.
And this is when I was like, because the boyfriend, the goofy QVC boyfriend, he just gets like thrown into a wall, into a picture frame, because like the picture frame even like falls around his head like comically as he falls down, and that's when I was like, shouldn't Bobby Joe turn into a monster? Like, she just ate a piece of a monster. Like, why did this guy suddenly turn into one? Other than he can't act and just looks like a goof.
Well, there you go. That's exactly why. Bobby Joe was supposed to go down, and they were like, let's get Smiley McGee out of here.
Right. Smiley McGee. Well, Smiley McGee turns into a monster, and they put so much makeup on this guy that you cannot see a smile. You can't see anything.
But you see that beautiful blonde hair. That's how you know it's him.
Blonde hair is still there. I like how, as a monster, the only thing he really does is bite a hunk out of Bobby Joe's hair and then, like, swallow it.
Yeah, he just eats her hair. Monsters like to grab hair because they pull hair a lot.
Yeah.
And then apparently this monster likes to bite hair.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
Ash makes short work of this boyfriend, though. He just, like, hacks him into bits with a, like an axe that we have not seen until this point. But he's got it, and he chops him up, and there's green. Yeah, you're right. He hacks this guy up, and there's green, like, flying all over everybody.
And now, mind you, Bruce has only got one working arm at this time, or Ash.
Right.
He's chopping this thing up. And this is where I got a little disappointed, because so far the ladies in here, and I get it, it's not about the girl power ladies. And I know a lot of times in our horror movies of the 80s, the ladies do not have a big role. But I was hoping...
I'm going to push back a little bit, because I think most of these movies, the ladies do, like... Night of the Comet, there were just ladies, and they were the ones that won the day.
And they were the tough, yes.
Yeah, and there's a reason why it's called a final girl. There's usually like a final girl left that defeats it. This movie doesn't do that because Bruce Campbell has to be our hero.
And that's my issue is our ladies. I mean, and I don't mind our Brucey hero, but our ladies don't really have any... Even later, when Annie is given the moment where I think she's going to, like, she finds that little... weird skeleton sword or whatever she finds, and I think, but she just stabs what's his name and then has to drag him across the floor.
Right.
That dragging scene is forever long. I'm like,
oh my god!
And then she drags him just to the front of the little dungeon door, and I'm like, well, that wasn't the best place.
That's a terrible place to put him. That's the worst place to put him. But I do like, I know it takes a long time, but I do love how she keeps slamming him in the door and then moves him, but not all the way. So now she's slamming his legs in the door.
Yeah.
So, but we're not there yet.
No.
No. This is when, like, they all just creep around the house a bit, and eventually they get back into the bedroom, and Annie's father as a ghost appears to them to talk to them for a bit.
Face well, they need to catch him up on what's they got going on, right?
Yeah. Because he basically tells him, he's like, listen, hey, there's this book. It's called the Necronomicon. I found it. You just have to read the pages, and then, I don't know, you'll save my soul. Everything will be great. And to this conclusion, Bobby Joe's like, I can't take it anymore. And he just runs out the front door.
Well, no, it's because
into the woods.
She says they get all this news, and Bobby Joe's like freaking out. and she looks at her boyfriend, and she goes, "Quit holding my hand so hard." And it's not her hand.
The hand, yeah, that's what it is.
It's a different hand, and that's when she freaks out and goes running out the door. But not only does she freak out, she knocks into them so that they knock over the lantern. So now the lantern goes down, and they're left in the dark. And then she goes running into the woods. Bobby Joe, that's the last place you want to go. And I think at one point, was it before this, where they're looking out the window and they realize the trail is gone?
Yeah, that is ridiculous. Because first of all, it's pitch black outside. The guy's like, remember that trail we came down? It's totally gone. Like, okay, all right. You didn't need to say that. But yeah, so she's lost in the woods. And then we see that like branches and vines come alive and grab her. Mm-hmm. Like there's some really good camera because it's like around her face. It's like in between her teeth. Mm-hmm. It's really cool. And then she is dragged off into the night, which I will say, some of the deaths and certain scenes were very similar to the first movie.
Oh, is someone dragged by trees like this?
This in the first movie is really, I'm going to say, problematic by today's standards because basically a woman is dragged out into the woods. She's wearing a skirt, and the tree spreads her legs and goes up between her legs to basically kill her. So I'm glad that Bobby Joe was wearing jeans. Okay. And also, we don't know what happened to her. Yeah. Maybe she got away.
Yeah, which question? Well, and her boyfriend really wants to know. Her truck driving boyfriend really wants to know.
Her boyfriend, who seems a little too old for her.
Yeah, I agree.
Can we just say
I do agree. Yeah.
So the local suddenly is like, listen, I got the shotgun now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in charge. Let's go find Bobby Joe out in the spooky, scary woods.
And I love it. At first, Bruce is not having it. He's like, no, we're not doing that. But it doesn't matter because this lunatic has a gun and he's very sweaty. And they have... Annie's like, well, we got these pages now, and we just have to do what the pages say, and that'll be okay. Well, now this lunatic takes the pages and tosses them in the cellar.
Yep.
Now, it's interesting because there's a big roaring fire happening in the room. Did you see that?
Yeah, I don't know when that fire got started.
I thought he was going to toss the pages in the fire.
Oh.
And then they'd be gone. But he puts them in the cellar so that I guess they're able to retrieve them again.
But you just put a monster in there. Like, that's not any better than throwing them in the fire. Like, even if you find Bobby Joe and you get back to the house, you'd be like, you idiot, you threw that down there. There's a monster down there. Now you go get it. Anyway, he's not thinking clearly. He clearly loves Bobby Joe.
Oh, yeah, because we know when he screams for her later, Bobby Joe.
Right.
Yeah.
So while they're out, though, Ash becomes evil again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this is a part of the movie that I'm not saying there's a weak part to this movie at all. But when Ash is suddenly the evil one and we have to follow Annie and this stupid hillbilly around for a very long time, I'm not into it.
No, I agree.
Only when Ash pops up in the window and he's evil. Like, I really kind of enjoyed that scene. But for the most part, it's the two of them running around this house.
Yeah.
Being like, let's barricade the doors because now he's totally evil. And as you said, somehow by accident, where does she find this spine that is a knife?
Mm-hmm. I don't know this.
Okay.
That looks like it's some sort of ancient artifact magical sword thing, right?
Right.
That would be the thing, like, to kill the monster with.
Right.
And I thought for sure this is going to be her, like, girl power scene. This is going to be where she comes to in this movie and is going to show him how to kill this evil. With or without the pages,
Yeah. Or like, okay, she accidentally murders the hillbilly, which is kind of funny, actually. Mm. But then maybe later she threatens the evil Ash with it, but like just swipes at him and just cutting him a little bit turns him back into a regular human. And then they fight the evil together. But not really. None of that happens other than her killing this goofy local.
Yes.
Because she totally stabs it like way in, like far too deep into this guy's chest.
Right through his middle. And even she afterwards is like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's not what I meant to do.
This is when she closes him in the door and, like we said, drags him right near
the cellar
basement
door,
trap door, and then proceeds to pull this thing out of him, and then kind of like walk away like, I'm sure you'll be totally fine.
Let's just breathe it out. Well, she does when she's dragging him, and that again, it takes forever.
Yeah,
but she's dragging him, and she's moaning, and he's like, "Oh," and she's all, "Shut up, shut up, shut up." Yeah,
not great Annie acting, and like I said, if you don't have Bruce Campbell on screen, you can do without him for 30 seconds.
But now you're
I didn't mind when they got off that airplane. That was fine.
Yeah.
That was okay.
But now you're just waiting for him to come back. And you don't care if he's Monster Bruce or if he's real Bruce. And Monster Bruce does come back. So the guy gets sucked down into the cellar. The people in the cellar take him. Blood splashes up from the cellar. Right?
I do like, at least, we have seen Ash get drenched with many colors of blood.
So much.
I do like that Annie is the one, like, kneeling in front of this, just getting just soaked with this stuff. And again, the whole time just holding onto his legs as they're flailing wildly and screaming. And I don't like her screams.
You hate
I've said
it's
it before. I'll keep saying it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not a fan.
Terrible. No.
But now Bruce is back, and Bruce takes her. This is when he tosses her like a WWE move above her his head.
It is kind of funny. Yeah. Slams her down, like throws her. Like, just, you're right. Like, it really is WWE, because he, like, suplexes her, but he slams her down. And then, as he's, I don't know, going to do his finishing move, I guess, get on the top rope or something, he notices that chintzy little locket.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes. And then this is now the monster cry, where he sits with it as a monster and kind of has a tearful time. And then, before you know it, he's back to his human form.
Fine. They argue, though, for a while, because she thinks he's still a monster.
Yes, she's ready to kill him. And this is when he screams at her, "I'm all right." Yeah.
It's great. And now it's serious business. Because he's like, listen, it's me, it's you. I got to go down there. I got to get these papers. What can I possibly do? I don't know. Go into this tool shed and fashion some sort of arm, like, chainsaw attachment to your arm. It's so great. It's
chainsaw
so great.
arm, and then he puts the shotgun behind him like a sword. And I love his line too, because I love this word. When he's done and he's checking himself out, he goes, "Groovy."
So great that he says groovy. I think it's fantastic. And in the third one, something happens to his chainsaw in the third one, and he makes himself like a mechanical hand and does the same thing. And then he's got his little mechanical hand. And he says groovy again.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
It's perfect. Yeah. It's very nice.
I will get into the third one later, but spoiler, you got to check out the third one.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, but we'll talk about why, and maybe why I don't like it quite as much, but we'll get into that. Right. Anyway. So he goes down into the basement, and as we said, he wanders through this seemingly endless basement. It's like a boiler room. Like, it takes forever. There are several rooms and chambers for him to walk through.
How about this, too? To get down into the basement. Now, to get into the cellar before, there was a door that, like you said, had a lock on it. Why does he is he just trying out the chainsaw?
I have no idea why he has to cut this. I'm like, seemingly they unlocked it to throw you down there. Where did the key go?
Right.
Like, we never saw.
And can't you just chainsaw the lock open? Why do you have to chainsaw a whole nother hole in the floor?
Well, listen, I don't know a whole lot about chainsaws, but I don't know that the type of blade that's on there would work for metal. I don't know, but it is cool because he cuts it and then gets to kick it open.
Yes.
And then heads downstairs.
And you're right. It's a huge, drippy, gross cellar that is forever long and big.
And like a prop at a haunted house, this guy's corpse, which is now just like a skeleton, pops out on him, like jumps at him. But it's just got the pages on it. And he's like, all right, cool. That's good. And he backs himself out.
Now he slowly backs out of the dungeon. And as he's backing up the stairs, that Henrietta monster.
I like how they're treating these pages as though they must all be glued together, because he throws the pages up to Annie. And I'm like, those pages should be all over the place.
Scattered.
Like, half of them made it up, half of them are under the stairs. Like, there's no way you can just take a collection of papers and be like, here you go, 3 feet in the air.
Right.
But this monster comes out. I love how she drags him into the steps, like pulls his legs out from under him and back through the steps.
Yeah, she's back.
Super fun.
And then she blasts him out of the basement, right?
Yes.
And, chainsaw arm and all. And then Henrietta goes on to Annie and starts pulling her hair and swinging her around with some wrestling moves.
This monster's got it all figured out, because the monster's like flying around too, which is, you know what, we saw her boyfriend floating too, so I guess that's what these monsters can do.
Yeah, they have some powers. But now this monster has, I guess at some point they start to lose their clothes, because she's just like this fleshy, flat, fat, decaying, naked.
Yeah.
It's no clothes, or just a top on, I think.
Yeah, I think so. To cover the top region of the giant grandma corpse, you know.
Yeah.
But earlier in the movie, I forgot to say that the monster tried to trick Annie into letting it out by turning back into her mother and singing Hush Little Baby. Like, it's dumb. So she decides that she's going to trick this monster by singing to it again. To distract it enough where Ash can just like cut this thing up into pieces.
Saves the day with that little chainsaw arm of him.
Sure does. And the monster's not dead though, because its head's there, and its head just keeps yelling, "Swallow your soul."
Well, this is crazy. Wait, we didn't get into what the monster becomes. It goes from this like chubby woman to then when they really go to get it, becomes like this like first it becomes like a dark crystal type of character. Then it's like a dinosaur, right? Then it's like this long-necked dinosaur, and it chirps like a bird at him the whole time.
There's a lot going on here.
Yeah, it transforms. This monster transforms into this ridiculous thing, and that's when she starts singing to it.
Right.
And that's when he then is he stab her, right? Does he stab it?
No, he cuts it up. He cuts her up with the chainsaw, because this is when he cuts it and you just see like pieces flying around, like an arm flies off into the corner.
Oh, and when it farts itself to death, oh my god!
Yeah, it like deflates / farts itself to death. He cuts the head off and it like deflates like a balloon.
Yes.
Like, it's crazy. And then, like I said, the head saying, "Swallow your soul, swallow your soul," and of course.
Great line.
He points the shotgun at it and says, "Swallow this," and shoots it, and it explodes like the Death Star. Like, there's sparks that shoot out of this. It's really kind of great. And then they hug, and it's like they're hugging like there's something between them. Like, they made it, and now they're dating. Like, it's such a weird,
and he takes the hug so seriously. He's like hugging her and then looking around. I mean, he's really been through it. Let's be honest.
Oh, yeah, right.
He's been at this cabin for a while. And you're right, though. It makes you feel like, well, now these two are going to embark on something. But now here's the thing. Annie didn't... So trees start to fall around them. Just the trees. And it's like they're being attacked by the woods that are around them.
Yeah.
She didn't finish the passage.
The tree literally grabs him.
She didn't do all the lines that she was supposed to do.
It's so bizarre that she like read half of this, and they hug, and then trees are trying to attack them. And she goes, "I totally forgot to finish that."
Whoops,
literally like one line left. Like those last 4 words, it slipped my mind.
Yeah, we just got so busy with, my mother monster trying to.
My mother.
Yeah.
I had to sing to it. It was a whole thing. You were here. You were here for the whole thing. You know what happened.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And the tree grabs Ash and pulls him out of this cabin where he is then face to face with like the main monster or something. It's got like a bunch of faces on it and a big eye or a couple big eyes. It's kind of weird looking.
And it pokes itself out through the... Right. Yeah. Yeah. It kind of reminded me, until you saw all the little dead people attached to it, of the Nothing in the Never-Ending Story, like how it just kind of peeked out. But
I don't
the
remember
Nothing
that
well
movie that
lit.
well.
How do you not remember that?
I don't know. I watched it as a very young kid, and it really bothered me. I was very afraid of the movie, and I know people love it, but I had no... And I was afraid of everything. Like the kid reading the book in like a school attic or whatever.
You were like, reading? Ooh, that gives me the heebie-jeebies.
No, but just the fact that it started to storm, I was like, this is too much for me. Like, just even this part of the movie is too much. And when his horse died, I was like, this is very traumatic to me.
So you can watch Bruce cut off his own hand, beat himself up with it. And,
listen,
you were
I watched
in college.
this in college. Right. Okay. I watched The Never-Ending Story. I remember I went to my uncle's. It was like a big sleepover at my uncle's. And he's like, I know what kids like. He didn't have any kids at the time. He's like, kids like The Never-Ending Story. And we watched it, and he's like, all right, good night then. And turned out the lights. It was like, you're sleeping on the couch. And I laid there all night like, I am so scared right now. Yes. Yep. I will always remember that.
Been scarred. Okay. Well, I do hope
we might have to do it at some point, just so I can like
closure for yourself.
make peace with this. Right. Yeah.
We're going to have to do like a little therapy session, but that's not today.
Right. Okay. So no, that's not today. We're near the end. So while all this is happening, she's like, oh, I better go get those pages and start reading them. And she gets like 2 words into the last 4 words and then goes, and turns around, and his severed hand has somehow stabbed her. Not sure how that happened at all.
Well, because it's evil, and it just needs her not to do that to...
No, I just mean she was standing up in the middle of the room. Like, how did it climb up? Anyway, who cares? But it stabs her with that same knife that she accidentally stabbed that other guy with, you know. And then she kind of like falls over, like she's totally dead. And we see this vortex.
Yeah, this like spinning.
Outside.
Yep.
And Ash is like chopping up this big monster, and blue goo's flying everywhere. And she's not dead though, because she reads the last line.
Slowly, she gets it all out. Yep.
It's so funny. And this vortex opens up and pulls everything. His car and him.
Well, I like it when he's getting pulled in, even he's like, Jesus Christ, I just said enough.
He's had enough. It's been a long, like, 24 hours.
Yeah, it's been a lot. This suddenly he's got this gray streak too on the side of his head. Where's that?
Oh my God, no, that's a part that I thought was hilarious, because when you see this big final monster, it like the door to the cabin opens or the boards blow off, and he's looking at it, and his hair turns white, and she goes, what is it? And he's like, don't look at it, as though it is the most terrifying thing you've ever seen. And when we see this rubbery thing with these giant eyes, it looks goofy.
Yeah, it does. It is a goofy look. It's not to be scared of, but it does. It streaks his hair a little white.
But it gives him cool white streaks in his hair. It's awesome. So why wouldn't you want this?
The vortex is very windy and stormy, and pulls and pulls and pulls and blows them all around. There's flashing lights. There's explosions. Bruce is like in the screen, like doing flips and like.
Oh yeah, he does flip like a gymnast, and you see like his face, and there's his feet. Oh, there's his face again. It's again like really, really great camera work in taking something that is so silly, but at this point you are so into it. You're just like, where are we going? Give me more silly. Pile it on. I love it.
And it's coming, because even he's like, how do you stop this thing? Yeah. Well,
and she is dead. She dies.
Yeah, she said her last word. She got to get it out. Yeah.
Totally dead. And then we see him fall out of the sky. First his car falls, and then he falls into some sort of like, it looks deserty, sort of dirty, dusty, whatever. And then he is surrounded by what appear to be like medieval knights.
Yeah.
And they're all going to kill him. But this like deranged monster bat flies out of nowhere.
Flying monster bat is coming.
Yep.
And Bruce has had enough, and he has his shotgun behind him still, like his sword. He blows that bat right away.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And the knights think it's amazing. They're so pleased.
I think it's so cool.
He just saved their lives.
Yeah.
And they want to worship him. Hail. Hail.
Yeah.
And he's not having it. No! Oh, another one of those no.
It pulls back. It reveals like a castle in the distance and everything. And yeah, he's just screaming again to the heavens. No, no, no. Not any more of this shit. And that's it. That's how Evil Dead 2 ends.
Now, does the third one pick up with that, where he's with the knights?
Well, the third one picks up yes and no, in that, like I said, that how they kind of like sort of redid 1 at the beginning of 2. Mm-hmm. They kind of redo this. There's still knights, but they're not worshiping him. They kind of take him prisoner. But yeah, it starts with the same thing. It's like he falls out of the sky, and then it becomes a different movie where they're like, dude, you're coming with us. You're our prisoner. And then he has to prove that he's super cool. And if you like this one.
And you said he does have the chainsaw arm?
He does have the chainsaw arm.
Because that's a big deal breaker to me if he did.
I think they eventually remove it because, like I said, he does get a metal arm. Mm-hmm. He makes a metal arm. If you were on board with the goofiness of this, but you were like, maybe the horror thing isn't your bag, and maybe the setting should just be like medieval nonsense. That's what the third one is.
Okay.
And he's got one-liners out the wazoo in the third one.
Right.
In the third one, they lean into it and they're like, Bruce,
Bring it.
We have written like crazy one-liners for you. We will sprinkle these things throughout. Yeah, it's
okay.
I think you will absolutely love it. I don't love it quite as much just because I'm a goofy horror junkie. Like I like this one a lot more.
Okay.
But the third one it's really, really funny.
All right.
So you should
I like it for the humor aspect. Now,
I know it's not called Evil Dead 3. It's called Army of Darkness. Just so you know when you're looking for it.
Good to look it up. Good to know about looking it up. I know we don't really do recommendations for these podcasts, but you mean for the patrons ones that we're doing. But as Evil Dead 3 is sort of your recommendation to me, right?
Again, not the name of it.
But sorry, you just said
kidding.
that.
No, just kidding.
Oh, that was good. Well, I had mentioned that this was my first introduction to Bruce. My first introduction to a young Bruce. I do know him from a little movie that I very much enjoyed, that I wonder if you've seen.
Go, let's do it.
Bubba Hotep.
Oh, of course. Okay. Bubba Hotep is great. Wow, that is not a movie I would have, not that I wouldn't have thought that you maybe like came across it at some point, but that's not a total deep cut, but that's great. Yeah, he's fantastic in that movie.
He was great in it. He's Elvis and it was great. But that's how
that movie's just so much fun. Just the fact that it's Elvis and JFK, who is an elderly black man. Yeah. I'm like, this movie is so just great.
Right there.
Yeah, that's super fun.
Yeah. So, but that's Evil Dead 2. I mean, it's keeping on with the horror movie conversion for me. Where again, I don't think I would have liked it as a kid. I don't even think that if I watched it in college, I don't think mentally I was prepared for it. I think that I might have been, even though it was hokey and funny, I think parts of it, watching it, because you always put those movies on when it is like Halloween or when it is like scary time, or when you're maybe drunk. I don't know.
Scary time. Well, everybody, it's scary time. What are we gonna do?
Shut up. But I think it would have affected me mentally differently had I seen it in a different stage of my life. Seeing it now, I loved it.
Yeah, and I think that's. I think also had we started, our very first year doing this, if we had done it, it probably wouldn't have connected the way.
I needed to warm up to other horror movies. I agree.
Like those baby steps when you were like, The Gate, I don't know, it's not great. And then we watched Hell Night and you're like, this is terrible. But then little by little, by the time we got to Silver Bullet, you're like, I'm all in, baby. Just do it. Just dump this on me. I already saw Angela, and everything changed after that.
It's so true. It's so true.
Yeah. So I'm very interested, and if you are listening to this, patrons, on the day that it has come out to you, remember tomorrow our episode on Hello, Mary Lou Prom Night 2 will be up, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts with that. And I'm interested to, you know what, I can spoil these for you and our patrons right now, just in case you want to sort of prepare for the other ones that we're going to do. After Hello, Mary Lou Prom Night 2.
Hold on, I'm writing them down. Go ahead.
You're writing that one down? You're like, wait, what do I have to watch before we record? Like tomorrow?
Okay.
After that, we are watching, and the name is going to make you feel like it's probably very sleazy and very sexist.
Okay.
But it's not. It is called Slumber Party Massacre 2.
Oh, boy.
It is a blast.
Okay.
You may know Crystal Bernard from, I don't know, Wings?
Oh, yeah.
She is the final girl in this movie, and it's so much fun.
Okay.
And after that, to round out the month, because remember, we're doing 3 of them.
3, yeah.
We're going to do something that is often referred to as the gayest horror movie ever made. Mm-hmm. We're going to do A Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Oh, you know what? I think I've seen that one.
Oh, it is fantastic.
Is this the one with Johnny Depp?
No, this is not. Johnny Depp's in the first one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, this is a fun one. It's a weird one, but that is how we're going to round out October. Lots of fun movies.
Feels good. Feels good for the fun.
So, so patrons, if you wanted to sort of catch up and I don't know, get all that viewing
That's
in
why
early
you're
in
patrons.
October.
You get all that info up ahead. So get
Right.
prepared. Yeah.
Yeah, and we will we'll sort of work out the logistics and think about how we can maybe give you guys some video podcasts.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
My thought was maybe if we just video all our Patreon episodes and just give them that stuff.
Oh, that could be
Just
fun.
like,
Yeah, I like it.
It's more relaxed. It's more laid back.
It
We
is.
don't have guests on the Patreon. It's just, the two of us just doing our thing. So
Just kicking back.
Anyway.
Yeah. I like it.
So we will figure that out. But thank you, everybody, for continuing to support our show. We really do appreciate it.
We really do. Thank you very much.
Yeah, this is super fun for us. And I'm so glad that I could introduce you to Evil Dead
I'm
2.
glad you did. Thank you.
I'm just like, and again, this isn't me taking credit for something, but I'm so glad that if we had never done this podcast, you would have gone your entire life without
not
seeing
it
and
and not knowing.
I could do this.
Again, Bruce Campbell, not knowing these performances. I'd heard of him, but I didn't know. And like I said, Bubba Hotep, and even when I watched that, I watched it with Barrett, and he was like, "Oh, Bruce, it's so great.
Yeah.
And this Bruce being Elvis is so great."
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, that guy sounds fun."
And every interaction I've seen with him and people online, he seems to be such a nice person.
I'm sure he is.
So much fun.
I'm sure he is.
So anyway, thank you everybody for joining us, and we will talk to you again tomorrow.
Yeah.
When we talk about
Mary Lou.
Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2.
Coming at you.
And coming at you. And in case you've forgotten or are a new patron, in the month of December, you get 2 bonus episodes.
Get ready. It's a
you
little
will get a
Christmas
December.
gift.
Yeah, you get a December 1st episode.
Yes.
Where we normally do a Christmas movie, Jamie, but I'm thinking of something different. I'll talk to you about it later.
All right.
Because in December, we will have an episode that comes out on Christmas Day. So that'll definitely be a Christmas episode. And I may have alluded to it or hinted to it earlier in the podcast. Mm-hmm. We always do a Christmas special, like a Christmas cartoon special. Yes. So this year, and I know I'm really talking about something ahead of, well ahead of where we are now, but when you were talking about poor Linda's body and you were trying to think of what it reminded you of.
Oh.
And I had mentioned those California raisins.
Yes.
I thought we could do California raisins Christmas this year.
My hands are in the air. The audience can't see, but I'm praising. That's awesome. It's going to be a great holiday season, folks. It's already started out swell. Oh, get ready.
You'll get a bonus episode on December 1st. You'll get the California raisins on Christmas Eve, and then a Christmas episode on Christmas Day.
I mean, we are just here to give. as you all have given me the opportunity to experience these films that I would not have otherwise seen, we are providing an opportunity for our listeners to just...
I already said I wasn't going to put this in as a regular episode. So if we did not do patron episodes, we would have never seen Evil Dead 2.
Thank you, patrons.
Everybody listening is like, when are they ending this podcast?
Yeah.
Like,
why do they keep...
This should have happened 20 minutes ago.
Now let's tell you about our 2021 lineup.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Let me get the... I don't even have papers that I can, like, pretend and crinkle up in front of the microphone. All right. Everybody, thank you again for listening. We really do appreciate your support, and we will talk to you tomorrow.
Later. Groovy.
Ooh, groovy. Yeah.
Oh, double barrel here! Blow your butts! The kingdom come! See if we don't.